What? 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 Oh, Chokes, it says 10 seconds. Here we go. Let's do this.
What?
Oh, I gotta start recording.
Oh, crack that open.
No, yeah, no, that's the thingy bob. Start recording.
And yeah, that's the thingy bob.
Boom! What is up, guys? This is Alex from First Figures.
Hey there, everyone. This is Chuckles.
Welcome to the Castlevania Symphony of the Night Dracula live launch. Check it out, guys. Right here we have Daddy Vamp, Dracula himself. Can't believe we are finally here, Jocks.
Yes.
Just want to make sure you guys can all hear us, no problems. Make sure you can hear us okay. Make sure the stream is smooth. Make sure everything is good. How you guys doing? Can you hear us okay? Just make sure, Chucks, before we continue with all the goodness.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm going to get this nicely set up.
Facebook seems to be okay. Ooh, turn the volume down. So how is it, everyone? The YouTubers?
Yeah, is everything okay for you guys? Just make sure.
How's it going over on Twitch?
Yes, YouTubers, Twitch, and Facebook, guys. Make sure it's nice and smooth for you. What's up, guys? All right.
So exciting.
So exciting. All right, Chuck. So, of course, we are back at it again with our Castlevania line. We have, of course, Big Daddy V, as I was saying. Let's give him a spin. Now, of course, Chuck.
Nice and slow.
Nice and slow,
Yes.
so you guys can see all the details from this piece right now. Now, Jocks, this isn't, of course, the first in our Symphony of the Night line. This is, of course, the second, the first being...
Alucard.
Absolutely, and of course that is, did you know?
I
Dracula... Spoiler alert.
That's right, Dracula the other way around.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, when we started the Symphony of the Night line, we knew that there was going to be a few key players that we definitely wanted to be working on in order to have a nice little range going on for that piece, of course. And when we started it with Alucard, we knew, of course, that Dracula was going to definitely make for a pairing. And we wanted to make sure that the Dracula and Alucard pairing would actually look really sweet next to each other as well. And that was really important to try and give the feeling of a nice and complete line. Of course, Symphony of the Night, one of the most amazing games back in the day.
Yeah.
Over on the PlayStation, a lot of memories and just...
Very iconic.
Very, very iconic. Very, very iconic. Sound could be louder.
Yeah, is it because you...
Because it's far away.
Because the mic's far away? How about that? Still off the screen. How about that?
Says you need a better mic. Is it any better, guys? Any better? It's a bit far away. Just bring it a little bit closer just until you get it into the camera shot.
Oh, kind of
But
the
that's
edge.
fine. I think it's fine. Because it's just going in front of your screen anyways.
Yeah.
So, really happy now that we have the second in that Symphony of the Night line. Of course, we are working on others as well. Not too much to say just on that for now. Let's just say someone in blue. Cross the fingers blue or whatever that might be. Maybe you guys can have a guess.
I know who you're talking about. It has been a while. I mean, sure, we've been a little bit slow when it comes to this line, but, you know, it's nice to actually announce Dracula. So, guys, how was it? How was Halloween for you guys? Because we made the teaser announcement exactly on Halloween.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think it's quite an appropriate time to get it on Halloween, 31st of October. Nice little teaser going on there with the video. Hopefully you guys got a chance to see that. It sounds muffled, Jocks.
It sounds muffled. Why? Is it because...
It's far away, maybe.
Really? Or is it direction? The angle's right, isn't it?
Just bring it closer to you, I reckon, because like your computer's there anyway. Like your...
Or is it because of my fan on the computer?
Oh, that's possible as well. Is it your fan on the computer?
Maybe. Can we have it like that? Would that be better, guys?
I don't know if that's any better, guys. All right, good. So, you know, it definitely was something that we wanted to make sure that we had this piece as a companion next to Alucard, so they look great next to each other. Now, of course, Chocks, we're going to go through the details very soon, but before we do that, let's talk a little bit about the fact that we are sitting here with Dracula. Now, it isn't the first time that we've actually shown him.
Nope.
We haven't shown this base before. We'll come back to that in a minute because it looks absolutely awesome. But the actual piece itself, it's not the first time that we actually showed it. And, Choc, do you want to talk a little bit about when we first showed this piece?
Oh my god, that brings back... Actually, would the actual image count?
No.
Physical piece.
Physical piece, yeah.
Oh, physical piece will be first shown at Gamescom.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So Gamescom
2019.
back in August.
Yep.
Back in August, it was definitely the first time that we debuted this piece, and a lot of people had comments, particularly about one specific area, and that was actually the bass at the time, and we took that feedback back on board, and here we are. But before we go into all that sort of detail, let's just talk about the development process. Now, this is something that was started probably back in 2015, I would say.
It's been a while, yes. I remember like I was saying, if you roll back a little bit, I was about the post. I was just talking about the post. That was actually one of the first posts I made back in 2016.
Was that What's Up Wednesdays?
Yes.
So back in 2016, we kind of did a side view.
Shot, yeah.
And that was in 3D?
It was a render.
It was a render. So, things have obviously progressed a lot since then in terms of the actual, obviously we're now 4 years later or 3 years later. But actually this piece was in development for longer than that, around about the same time as Alucard itself. Now, Alucard went up for pre-order back in 2017?
Really?
2018?
No, it can't be 18.
It must be 2017.
Yeah.
Because obviously Alucard's now been in the marketplace for a good few months.
Yeah.
So typically I would say, so 2017, maybe you guys can correct me on that. But right afterwards, right, Chocks? Right afterwards, I did a post after we launched Alucard of Dracula. And when I did that, a lot of people weren't happy with his face, because actually I only just showed the face. And that was quite interesting, because as a result of that, we then spent 4 years developing. We then went back to the drawing board with the face. Now, of course, Kojima's artwork is absolutely gorgeous, and it has a very sort of distinct look to it. It's also quite challenging in order to kind of translate it into something more physical. And as a result, we really asked the club to help out a lot. There was a lot of back and forths with the club about, hey, how should the face look? Change this, change that. And a lot of the things and that was really great community engagement, just to go back and forth, and really love how it's come out afterwards. So, Trox, why don't I just sort of stop that, and why don't we just go through the piece itself, some of the details, so we can better understand how the evolution of this piece went. So why don't you start from top down, going through some of the details that you see?
Yeah, straight away, this is very striking. Not many colours, just mainly blacks and reds, and silvers, but they are very contrast, and they work very well with each other. Leaning right against this white background, you can see how Dracula here stands out with that red cloak. Yeah, it looks really amazing. So straight away from the top of the statue, his head sculpt there, very how would I put it? Kind of old, not old, but what's the word?
I think he looks really good for his age, to be honest with you. But the thing is, look, the details are there. Of course, it has subtle textures to the paint textures on the face. It's very, very subtle, but it's there. It has a little bit of obviously he has a little bit of wrinkles here, but not too strong, right? But what's quite interesting is, of course, is if you played the game, you know that Dracula has a sense of kind of, this word is something I don't often use in my vocabulary, but it's a hoity-toity look and a kind of sneering, kind of holier than thou, well, of course not holy, but very much more superior kind of look to him. And the way that that's kind of done is almost like he's looking at you slightly down his nose, right? Sort of like he's got this kind of look to him where his head is a little bit tilted up and he's looking a little bit down, just ever so slightly, to kind of give that kind of superior look to
empowering, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, if you compare it to Alucard Alucard's got quite a low kind of stance. His head is angled down a little bit, and his eyes are looking up a little bit more intense. Which is more like, you think you can challenge me?
Yeah.
But you're just a miserable pile of secrets, right? For example. So it was definitely the expression where he has quite a fixed expression, but you're still trying to convey the sense of hoity-toityness and just superiority. And that was definitely something that the club helped out a lot on just getting that just about right, just right.
Yeah, and like you said, like working through Alucard and now into Dracula, we've worked on human scopes and paint app. So this is very different in comparison, and I think that came out really well. It doesn't give off any of that human vibe. It's definitely vampirish, with the different tones in the skin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you consider also, hold on, I'm going to put off a light on here.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you also consider the fact that this is the second in the line, what do you remember about the cloak of Alucard as well? Do you remember the sheen that's there?
Yeah.
We've definitely got the sheen that matches Alucard's cloak as well. The way it kind of has this pearlescent finish to it. It's not a matte color at all. It might look a little bit glossy in this, to be honest with you, but it's just reflecting because we have very, very strong lights going on in terms of studio lighting. But as that turns, you can really see the way that the black, normally black, of course, it just absorbs light, right? But you can see this beautiful sheen going across the back of the cape, which really matches that of Alucard. Just when you put them side by side, they're definitely the same world, same proportions, all that sort of good stuff. And I just love the way that the cape itself is being wrapped around his arm. It's very similar to also how Alucard also putting on his cloak as well with one hand, and the same way it's kind of wrapping around, and it has this beautiful pulling effect. You see this beautiful pulling effect going up, around, over the shoulder. Sorry, over the forearm.
The
forearm wrapping around. It's just an intricate design to the cloak, and I just love the way that it's come out and that it's brought that out as well.
Looks like one whole hanging, flowing piece that goes around.
And engineering-wise, it's a challenge to kind of get that all together. Now, if you recall, with Alucard, the cloak came assembled together as one piece, just to make it, just to be able to get that flush fit going on, and when you put it on, just to it flows better together with each other. Look, you can really see the pearlescent finish right there. Why do you stand so far away?
Because the mic is here.
Yeah, so the actual cloak itself, I love the way it has this beautiful sheen to it, and again it follows on when you look on the inside of the cloak.
The red,
the reds as well. Maybe it's not picking it up as much because of the lighting effect, because it's you got to sort of, you can just about see it. But Chocks, it really contrasts to the matteness of the actual inner jacket. I'll call it the actual jacket that he has. It's not the actual cape or the cloak, but the actual jacket itself. So talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing for the clothing itself, because you know what? It's the tailoring on this piece that's one of the standout things about it. He has a very stoic pose. We talk about the stoic kind of, pompous attitude to the face itself. But the actual clothing, the tailoring of it, I just love the texture effects that have come out, and it really looks like real clothing. But of course it's not. This is fully sculpted.
Yeah.
But for those that can't really see it up close, maybe you can describe a little bit about some of the things that you can see, both texture-wise and paints.
I mean, it's textures everywhere. You can see the cloak, the creases, the way how the collar here. There's layers after layers of the collar, then it goes down to another layer where you can see the inner sleeve, where the cloak is, and then you can see the grooves right behind it. How it folds. You see it?
Yeah.
Is it showing there? Yep, definitely. Yeah, you can see how the details there, the contrast, the patterns. And then the kind of like this bit around here, how that goes around in a different direction.
He's got this. Is it called the cummerbund? It's the last time I was wearing. Long time since I was wearing a tuxedo.
It's part of the suit, right?
Yeah, but it looks like a cummerbund, right? Or kind of just like this big red thing going around his.
Call it a massive strap, but it's not.
Holding up his pants.
Yeah, and then just look into the arms where you can see the sleeves have been folded up, and then you can see the actual patterns, the inner patterns of the jacket.
So it's a logical conclusion. If you look at the way that you have this material, right? So if you assume this is one black cloth, but it's only black on one side, and on the flip side, Chokes, you have this gorgeous patterning in red, right? If you follow that logic, that this is black, and on the underside it's red, it makes logical sense when you flip the sleeves up on the underside. What are you going to see, Chokes?
The red.
The red, and that's what you're seeing all throughout the forearms. On the sleeves.
Yeah, and then that's a different texture as well. I mean, look at the trousers as well. The how it bulges where the boot begins.
Yeah, so there's a squeezing of material that when you have that, what usually happens is it bunches up just at the collection at that point where the top of the boot strap is, or so the top of the boot is.
And then the if you talk about the boots, that has a really nice shine, like how boots are, exactly like how Alucard's boots is. So it has a very nice glossy sheen to it.
So we're having a similarity when we're considering this piece, considering what else has been in the line, just to kind of make sure that they're matching. You've got the matching of the pearlescent finish on the actual jacket, on the cape, and then you have this beautiful finishing on the boots as well, which also matching Alucard. And you're beginning to say, you know what, these are making sense to look next to each other. Even the cloth, the sort of mateness of the inner clothing of of Alucard as well, matches the same feeling, and I love how they all come up together.
Yeah, and then that's just the top two layers. So the cloak, then you get the jacket, and then you have the inner jacket, the golden part. Yeah,
absolutely beautiful golden patterns on there. I mean, there's a lot of Easter egg details when you look at it from different angles, and sometimes if you look at it just straight on, you can't appreciate that there are all these, as you said, different levels and layers to it.
You can see the thickness as well, as in the thickness of the sleeves, the thickness of the inner jacket. The two totally different materials.
Absolutely right, absolutely. And I really love how that's come out, and I really love how they have all these different types of textures with each other as well. And it's not just the texture shocks, but it's also the finishing of the pearlescent, the matte, the shiny, the different textures. I just love how they all come together. And of course, this is also a testament to the character artwork. This is obviously based off of Kojima's artwork. It's just, the design is just fantastic, and I just love how it's come together with that.
I love the way at the back of the cloak here it wraps around, and because it's dragging along the floor, you can see how that folds back up, and you can see the underside of the cape.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. That looks really cool as well. Like how it's resting on that. Love it.
And the way he picks up the other side of the cloak, and have that overhanging his forearm, where you can see the different folds.
And as you can see the way that the lines have been pulled all the way along the back, up, and then he wraps it underneath and over like this, and it just looks really cool. It just looks really cool. Obviously, he doesn't like to get his clothes a bit dirty, because right now, Chokes, if we bring our attention down to the base, there's a lot of blood on the floor, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to stain his cloak. I can understand.
That's right. So it's really hard to catch off from the camera, but where this middle part is, where the carpet is, there are some blood splotches.
It's not just; it also goes onto the base as well. If you go onto, it goes onto the grey areas as well. Now, this blood is it's kind of like it looks wet. It looks like it's fresh. It's got this dark, fresh blood look to it, and it's got a 3D-ness to it as well, right? It's got a 3D-ness, and it looks fantastic. And it kind of gives a thickness to it that you can imagine that's what it looks like. Now, before we just go too much detail into the base, because that's something, let's just continue, because there's a little something on his arm. He has a little bit of a pet, Chocks. What's going on there?
Yeah, what's that doing over there? So that is the bat. again, look at that, the detail. It's really hard to catch off the camera here, but guys, do check out some of the videos and the photos that we have after the stream. We have close-up shots of these features.
Now, it looks... What I love about this bat, Chocks, is the way that the skin is being pulled. You can see the joints in the arm, in the wings themselves, the way the claws are angled, his pose, all of that sort of stuff is pulled directly from the actual artwork, but we made sure that the anatomy of the bat is looking awesome, and the way that you have the leather-like textures of the in between the webbing, between the claws of the wings. And I love how that's come out, and it looks amazing, and his face as well. It's got the pug nose.
I love how the arms kind of blends in with the wing. You see it? It's raised and sculpted. The way it
Oh yeah. And you can also see. You're talking about the bat arms.
The bat arms. Yeah.
Those are the boys getting on with it. And what's quite interesting, Chocks, is I actually when we made this back in 2015. I had another look at it, and I looked at it with 4-year-older eyes, and I said, you know what, we can improve that bat. And this is the result of it, because before the anatomy was kind of weird, and the finishing of the texture didn't quite match. And this is the updated one. And now this was something that we showed at Gamescom, but if you had actually seen the original one back in 2015, it doesn't hold a candle to the updated bat. And we just wanted to. I think the reason why, Chocks, is this is something that I started in 2015, and we have a lot more experience since then. So we updated a couple of things. The first, of course, is the head. The second is the bat. And the third is the base. And that sort of brings it where clearly a 2015 first figures would have accepted that, but we have higher standards now as a result, and we wanted to make sure that was taken into account. And before we go into the base, just one more thing about those hands, Chocks. They are not just human hands, are they, Chocks?
No, definitely not. And look at the claws, the paintwork, especially the paintwork. You can see the veins and those nails.
Yeah, but the veins aren't too strong because, the guy's not got blood. And those nails are kind of really, sharp. And let's just say you don't want to play a game of Mercy with this guy. Those claws are pretty sharp looking. Those fingers, for sure.
And there's one other layer I haven't gone through as well. I mean, right underneath the inner jacket, you have his shirt as well. Yeah, the white parts. So the frilly bits coming out.
The collar and the we call it cravat, the sort of thing at the front with the jewel, with the jewel around. Oh yeah, and the frilly
bits around.
His. There's a lot of and the great thing about this, Jogs, is of course this is kind of period Gothic kind of styling and architecture, of course, from the game, and then the actual outfits themselves. It just looks like they walked right out of a Gothic scene. And of course that's what we were going for, to match what the source material is, and I think it
turned out really nice. Well. It turned out really well in 3D.
It did.
Yeah, because I think that the official source, the actual image itself is very iconic, and anyone that's been following Castlevania will instantly recognize the official artwork. So to see this come to life in 3D. It's amazing.
It is. It really is.
Same with Alucard as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely we're going to be really pumped for people to get them in their collection, get them in their Castlevania collection. Specifically, if they have Alucard, I think it would be a really good piece to put it. Obviously, he looks amazing on his own as well.
Definitely.
If you have a Dracula specific collection, just all types of Dracula, perhaps. I just love how it's come out. All right, Chocks.
All right.
Let's talk about the base, then let's run the video.
Sure.
All right.
Oh, wow. Nice round base. Look at that. Nothing too big, nothing too small.
Now, the actual size of this base actually matches the same footprint as Alucard, near enough. Yeah. Pretty similar. Might be slight variations, but it's pretty much like that, right? So, in terms of the actual space overall, I'm sure you'll give us dimensions later on, but at least it's not too... For a 1/4 scale statue as big as this, it's got a very, a rather sort of small footprint, but not in a way that is distracting from it. It still has a nice tie-in to the actual piece. Now, the original base, again, was a 2014-15 eyesight, and it almost looked like, I think the best description that I saw on the internet was a Coke bottle cap. And what we had was a carpet, because if you look at the Dracula scene, he's in this kind of throne room, and there's like red carpet on the floor, and we sort of took that and then applied it all the way around, and giving a kind of overlay to it under a black base with an overlay on top of it. And it, hindsight, it's easier to spot that it's quite not up. So when people were like, "Oh, that's kind of weird," and I was like, you know what, I agree. So we took the time chocks to make those changes after Gamescom. We saw the feedback on that, so that's what we did, and we wanted to make sure that they were that the base better reflected our ability now, and it's a lot of detail packed into that small area, Choc. So over to you.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look at that. Just look at the grays first. I mean, the stone slabs. What do you call it?
Tiles or bricks.
Sorry, yeah, bricks.
Got some thickness to it.
Definitely. So overlapping, you can see all the cracks and grooves and crevices, all covered in dirt. And if you look at the top surface of the base, you can see all the pebbles, the kind of rocks, the breakages from the actual tiles themselves. So yeah, it's been through quite a lot of wear and tear in that throne room. Yeah,
that's right. And that wear and tear goes through to the carpet as well, Charles.
Yeah, I mean, look at the right at the front of the base, as well as the back of the base. There.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it has different kind of creases and rips and tears, rough edges. As you can see, like kind of like the threads.
They're all fraying.
Yeah, in between each strand, and then right underneath his foot, you can see the pattern, the stitching.
Yeah, there's a lovely pattern going across the base, across the carpet.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. And of course, as we were saying earlier, Chocs, it's just covered in blood. But not just it's got a sort of nice placement. Now, of course, just to be clear, this is all just placed on quite sort of naturally by a drip method. So all of the blood effects will be they'll have variations between them because you can just, there you go.
So each base will be different and unique.
Correct. There will be some variations between them. It will be unique in terms of the way that the blood is placed, but it's all sort of similar in terms of amount and location, I should say. It just sort of naturally just drips onto the base, and then it hardens up, and then you know, and it has a cool translucency to that blood. That if you look carefully, you can still see the pattern underneath the actual blood itself. So that's a nice little added bit of detail. I like seeing that. So
yeah, how it thins out. It's like a puddle.
And at the edges are kind of a little bit less.
Yeah.
And therefore you can see more of the pattern of the carpet underneath.
Yeah.
All right, Chocs. Anything to add before we run a video for you guys? It's one of my favorite videos. I think the guys have done
very well.
Very, very nice job. Very, very nice job. If there's anything to add, Chocs, I'm going to run that video.
No, run the video.
All right, then. All right, guys. This is about a 3-minute video or so. And we will run it now, and we will see you on the other side. Boom!
Yep.
We're booming it?
Yeah, we're booming it.
Check it out, guys. Of course, there is an exclusive version, Chocks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Wow, look at that. Instant.
Right there, Chocks.
Is lost 20, 50, 70, 100 years?
Now, Chocks, I would love to be able to dye my hair. Oh. But we have here a more, I would say, a younger look. He's got, there's two differences, of course, main differences to the actual head. The first one is, of course, sporting a more stylish, back in the day, black locks style of how you might sort of see a younger Dracula. We thought it'd be a nice sort of consideration of what he might look like as a nice little alternative display. And the other thing, of course, is having. Now we follow the artwork, of course. Kojima's artwork. We've really followed that, and we're quite specific about it. But we really wanted to do. We knew we wanted to show something that is, of course, quite vampire-esque, and that, of course, is to show the gorgeous teeth of a vampire with the canines, are nice and long and sharp, and that is something that we wanted to do, and that is why we have him opening his mouth up just to show that don't mess with me. That's why we wanted to really just have him portray his mouth like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully you guys like what you see there and you like the additional head sculpt. I really like that you have the display options, Chocks, and he's got that kind of sneer. You can see the way. Can you see the wrinkles on the face, specifically around the nose? Because if you have a very sort of standard face where you're not, it's quite neutral. You don't really have much. Like you have much more wrinkles if you're opening up you're kind of snarling. You've got more wrinkles around the nose.
Your nose kind of
bunches together.
Yeah, bunches up. You can see all the creases, and then
I mean, there's definitely a difference in the forehead wrinkles and the nose wrinkles compared to the standard version of the head. Now, the exclusive version, of course, it comes with both. So, should you feel like you're feeling like you want to see him looking a little bit older or a little bit younger, you have the option if you decide to purchase the exclusive version, which of course is available only at firstofigures.com. Firstofigures.com. So, in that. Great. I mean, the boys did a great job. Ting and Enoch, again, really great use of really understanding the styling of Castlevania. Just love the artwork involved in that. Of the castle itself.
And the scene at the end as well.
Well, this was the point I wanted to really mention. We talked quite extensively earlier on about the fact that this piece pairs up really well with Alucard. Now, of course, this time you guys have a chance to actually see that. He just looks amazing with Alucard. End of. They look fantastic next to each other. As I said, the bases themselves match up. There's an end scene in that video, Chocks, where you see them side by side.
Having a father and son conversation.
It's not the kind of conversation I have with my dad. I don't know about you, but it's quite a different version.
Yeah.
Well met. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, having said that, my dad does say I do keep uttering a lot of nonsense. So, but no, in all seriousness, of course, Jocks,
I mean,
I love how they look together, and
it made perfect sense having them both together. Capturing that scene, that conversation from the game itself, and it's really nice. I mean, we knew all along Dracula was going to come, and just to have that side by side, the time came for that, and it worked out really well.
Definitely. Okay, Chocks, so without much further ado, is there anything you want to add before we then start going into pricing and shipping? Is everything?
I believe that's it, right?
Yeah, I believe so too.
I mean, guys, if you missed out on the hype video, don't worry about it. We will post that information right after the stream. So yes, for this stream, it is always about Castlevania Dracula. So we will go live with the pre-orders after this stream. So in about 10 minutes or so, we'll go through all the shipping and the pricing, and then after that, hopefully within the next 15 to 30 minutes, the pre-orders will open. And guys, do not worry, do not panic. Do make sure you check out the FAQ and all the articles and blogs and social media content. Digest all the information and then take the time to pre-order in your own time. Okay, there's no need to rush. Okay, so Again, this is the Symphony of the Night Dracula. There will be a standard edition and an exclusive edition, both available on our website. The pre-order starts right after the stream, 15th of November. And yeah, so as always, we do have 5 warehouses. Yeah, one in UK, one in US, one in Canada, one in Slovakia, which is EU, and then also one in China. So if you're in those regions, don't worry about the fees, the custom fees, I believe, yes, the custom fees. Everything else, what you see is what you pay once you go into the checkout. We do offer a 12 months Flexi payment plan. So guys, do make sure to check that out. So you can go with a 3 month, 6 month, 9 month, or 12 months, or pay once the item is ready to ship out. We have this statue estimated to be released in the 4th quarter of 2020. Again, guys, this is a resin piece, so all of these are going to be hand painted. It has to go through all the different stages of production. So resins typically takes about a year to produce. But don't worry, guys, if you want to stay up to date, make sure you sign up to our newsletters for production updates, and also join our First Figures official collectors club to stay up to date with the progress. Pricing.
I've done one of these for a while.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
Still 10%, right?
10%, still 10% deposit.
How much lattes now from Starbucks? So if you jump on a payment plan.
That's right, a 12-month payment plan.
12-month payment plan.
Yep.
$40 a month. After you take a 10% deposit, $40 a month. So if you divide that by, I don't know, $3 cups of coffee, that's 13 cups of coffee you got to sacrifice for the month.
Alright guys, so what that means in pricing terms, that's the price for the standard edition as well as the exclusive edition. Both are set at $524.99 US dollars. That's $524.99 US dollars.
Yeah.
10% deposit, and as Alex said, it's on a 12-month plan that will be $40 per month.
After the deposit, yeah.
After the deposit. Yeah. Alright guys, so make sure to check out all the information on our website and Facebook, and also the Collectors Club after the stream. There will be a validation for this one.
Carry on.
Okay.
Oh, I was just going to say Okay, carry on.
Okay. I know what you're saying, but yeah, okay. There will be a validation for this piece, the exclusive version, and the validation will be on the 22nd of November, so that's next Friday. Okay, guys, the validation. What that means is that if you place a pre-order from now until next Friday, if you come back on the 22nd for the validation, usually at 11 p.m. Hong Kong time, and just come back and validate, you will get an extra free bonuses. And that includes a signature card, an additional...
which is not signed.
Not signed. Signature edition, but not signed. Holographic sticker. Signature edition holographic sticker. And extra reward points. So, yeah. Make sure to come back. Well, don't worry about it if you don't understand what I'm talking about. We will post everything there is to know about validation before the validation day.
Sure.
All right. So, the other information?
Well, have you done the shipping fees yet? So do that, and then we'll just wrap it up.
Oh yeah, shipping fees?
Yeah. I don't think you've done that.
Not yet. Oh my god, where did we go?
You haven't prepared it.
I haven't prepared that one yet.
Okay, so this is with the exclusive version. The standard format is is it a month?
Sorry, come again?
It's a month after validation. Is that right?
Pre-order close, yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. So 1 month after validation, that should be let me just double check on that. 20th of December.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Unless it hits 1,000 units. If it hits 1,000 units, it closes then.
Yeah.
If not, it just stays open until production or 1,000 units is hit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, with the standard version, we are capping the edition size no more than, is it 3,000?
3,000.
3,000 for the standard version. Now, whether or not we make that many or not is going to be absolutely predicated on pre-orders from wholesalers, etc., etc., and on our website. But we were saying that it won't go over 3,000. That's what we'll cap it at.
That's the standard edition.
That's the standard version.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So the shipping costs for standard and exclusive are exactly the same. So for Zone 1, United States, that will be $55. For Zone 2, which is EU, that will be $55. For Canada, which is Zone 8, that will be $65. For Australia, New Zealand, that will be $115. And Zone 3, that includes Costa Rica, Colombia, Cuba, that will be $115. Guys, if you missed out on that information, don't worry. Make sure to check out the FAQ after the stream. That includes all the information I've just mentioned about the shipping costs.
Now, there are subject to change in the future because it's very hard to predict what the pricing of shipping will be in a year. Just as a disclaimer, there might be modifications on that shipping later on. Of course, you'll be let known. You'll be informed if that was the case later on.
That's right. Anything to add to that? I believe I've mentioned all the information on the stream.
Great.
However, all the information will be covered up on our website and Facebook post as well.
All right, Choc. So this one is going to be wrapped up. We have we're going to be going live. You're going to be pushing all that sort of stuff in the next 5-10 minutes. Is that correct?
That's right. So guys, do allow, I would say 15 or 20 minutes or so we can do everything in the back end to make sure this goes live pre-orders. And guys, if you want to stick around, in about 45 minutes, we will have another program called Live and Unplugged. So do come back and
hang out with us. See how you guys been.
Yeah.
With that, so do have some nice interaction with us. It's just some chill out time just to hang out with us, and we'd love to hang out with you guys as well. So in about 45 minutes, we'll be live and unplugged, kicking off then.
All right, guys. So make sure that if you're into Castlevania, Dracula, Alucard, and all that stuff, make sure you join our Collectors Club, because once we've gone live with the launch, it's hype time. So guys, do if you're a big fan of Castlevania, make sure you jump into the Collectors Club and share with us your experience with the game, what other things you collect, if you're into artwork, anything Castlevania related. Just make sure you join the club and post away.
All right, cool. All right, Choc, so that's wrapped up. I'll see you in 45 minutes as well, and I'll see you guys then as well. All right, guys, we'll see you in a bit. I'm your host, Alex.
I'm Chuckles.
And for his love.
For his life.
See you in the next one. Peace.
Laters.